Okay, so this will be the first draft recording. I'm going to start off by showing you the level that I've made. Although I am slightly disappointed in how it turned out. I added what I felt I could, but it was easily the hardest thing in the entire process. Now I understand that this is the first draft. For the final draft, you can polish it a lot more, actually make it longer than it actually is, because I don't think it's 5 minutes long, nowhere near. Or I could just create more levels with a different aesthetic. The textures I used for the blocks were free assets from the UDK store because of lack of time. Again, my fault on that. I started the project late, so I didn't have the necessary time to create my own textures. But saying that, let's just get into the level. I've got a functioning main menu system with the exit game button and get started button that I showed in previous updates, and then we go into the level and it starts. I created a AI bot thing that's very loud. I'll need to turn that down. A regenerating health system. And then we run into our first obstacle, which is a fire pit. Very simple, of just jumping over it. Problem I found really was I didn't know how to lay out the level and what stuff to put where, and the spacing out between everything. I also added this, which is a destroyable actor that will get destroyed in a second when I go get the key. Back this way. Jump boost activated. Yeah, that area, it requires the player to use the jump boost. Now if we go over here, it's literally nothing. A red herring. Go up here. And there is a elevator system. Wait for that to come back down. Again, I'll go over everything in a minute, but once I pick up this key, an explosion will happen. Again, very loud, I need to tone that down. If we drop back down, this actor here is gone. And then we carry on running, speed it up. And then there's this platform right here, which we need another jump boost to get up to. And then we get another obstacle. This one you need to use either super speed or the jump boost. If we super speed across it, it's just a very long fire pit. And we get stairs. If we go this way, it's yet another red herring. Make the player go back. And if we go up here, this just gives you a need to go to here, and then where's my door? I have, there we go. Now, first things first, I need to bring this forward so that it can actually play the door opening. For some reason it wasn't doing it. I can quickly test that by grabbing the player don't know why that wasn't working. When I tested it before before I started recording, it worked. Yeah, before I started recording, I tested that and it worked fine. Let me just go over there now. Yeah, it was perfectly fine. But one of the problems I was facing was where to put things, how to lay it out. Yeah, it's just, oh, I know what's happening. Because I move things around, my door is just opening over there somewhere. However, again, can finalize that in the final project. This is just how the level looks. I don't know why, but it was the hardest thing I had to do. It really was. I found the blueprint side of things pretty easy to flesh out, but actually creating the level was a royal pain in the ass, politely put. So let's just go over the stuff that I've made, including the raising platform thing right here. If I play, you can see goes up, goes down. It's as simple as that. All I did to do this was create a level sequence for this block, and every 30 frames move it up slightly and then repeat it going back down, otherwise it'll just clip. That was very simple. The door, on the other hand, I'm going to have to redo the entire thing for the door because it's opening over there somewhere. It's very easy to redo the door sequence. Yeah, it's opening down here. So, because it's opening down here, it does work. It's just a door opening thing. All I have to do for that is just redo the code and bring it up here, which I could do while I'm here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that while I'm here, just to show that I can do it. So if we move the door over to the level complete frame, like so. Very simple. Make sure that it's in the frame itself, like that. Go to cinematics, add level sequence, call it door open or whatever. I was saving everything in here. You know what, I can save it over the top of that. Yes. Good. Never mind. I need to go into my level blueprint first and get rid of that bit. Very simple. File it, and then I can go here, cinematics, add level sequence, or just to make things a lot easier, delete that one. Force deleted. Yep. Now I can create a cinematic level sequence. Into set scroll VP, into blueprints. In here, just call it door open, like so. Track, acted a sequence, door, and then at keyframe 1, press enter. At keyframe 75. No, bad. Stop it. Keyframe 75. Make sure you got the door selected, and just rotate it 90 degrees, enter keyframe, and then that'll just create the opening. Collision presets, no collision, that's fine. And then we just need to go into the level blueprint, off of true, create level sequence player, look that to that, door open, oh wait, return value. Now that should work. If it doesn't work, we can sort it in the final. But yeah, the AI bot was weird, but it worked out. To create it, all I did was I copy pasted the player. I copy pasted the player model, deleted all of the variables and other stuff that are inside of it, like I can show you exactly what I deleted. If we go to the viewport, well, I deleted all of this, literally all of it. Went to viewport, changed the size of the character, removed the spring arm, the camera. I think that was all I removed, really. Yeah, added a pawn sensing to it, changed the peripheral vision angle to 60. That way, if the player jumps over it, it can still see that it's jumping over and follow. And then in the event graph, on seeing the player, cast of the character is that pawn. As the size, then you put the AI move 2. The pawn will be itself. That's the thing that's moving to the character. And then on success, destroy the AI bot, spawn an explosion at the player player's location, play the explosion sound, then cast the character again, get the health, set the player health to -0.5, cast to the character again, damage the player. The damage player thing is the HUD, the vignette effect. The very slight vignette effect, but it's there, it's noticeable when you get damaged. To a branch, if the player's health is below 0, then cast the character again, play the death, create the you died widget, add it to the viewport, delay a second, and pause the game. The delay of a second is just so that the death animation plays through. Don't need to worry about anything else in there. The disappearing wall was literally on an event tick. So it ticks and checks every tick. If the player has the key, branch true, destroy the actor, play an explosion. Simple as that. The explosive barrel was a lot more. Was one of the most complex things I made. Simply because of the fact that you needed to have a begin and end overlap, setting the player within the radius of the explosion and taking it out of the radius of the explosion, and then when it starts playing, spawn the emitter location, get the barrel's location. That's where the explosion will play. Then that comes down to a caster character. No, comes down to a branch node. If the player is in radius, then plays all of this. If it doesn't, delay it by 2 seconds and go back. If it is in the radius, set the player health to -0.5, cast it again, damage player, which is the Vernier effect again, go down to a branch. If the player's health is below 0, then play the death, set the game paused, yada yada yada. If not, delay by 2 seconds, go back to the beginning. The player in radius was a simple boolean, so it's either yes or no. It's the easiest variable to do it with, and the only one to do it with, really. Now the fire, yeah, I know all about that, go away. Was just adding a particle system, which was the base template for fire within UDK. Like, it was, as soon as you load up UDK, this is already there. And then again with the begin overlap, set the player in radius, target health minus 0.1. The cast damage player. If the player's health is below 0, do the death. If not, delay it by 0.5 seconds. If the player is in radius, then carry on this. However, if they're not in the radius, which is set here by just going out of the box, then it'll set the player not in radius. Then we've got the fuel pickup. Like the fuel pickup and the health pickup were the first things that I created, just to get me into the blueprint system and know what I'm doing really. So it's basic, just begin overlap, cast to the character, set the player fuel, which I created in the character as a variable of a float to plus 2.5, destroy the actor, and print the player fuel. I also added a rotation to it, and the material was a material that I created, but I'll go on to those in a minute. The diamond was a very simple thing in Blender. It was just a triangle on top of a triangle and merged them together. The health drop again was simple in Blender, just a box on a box, merge them, and again I created the material within Blender, within UDK. This again, just cast the character, set the player health plus 0.25, destroy actor, print the player health. It's as simple as that. Also added a rotation movement to it. The key I also created in Blender, but it was a lot more complex to create, but still not too complex. The end thing here was a torus that I just pinched. Then I added a cylinder, another 2 toruses, one thin, one fat, another cylinder, or I could have created the entire thing in one cylinder, but I was stupid. A box that was just squished, and then a box again, box again, box again. Made that rotate and created the material here in UDK. The level complete blueprint was as simple as soon as the archway, it's a doorway, not an archway. The doorway, I created a box collision, stretched it so that it was the entire thing, casted the character, create level complete widget, add to the viewport, and set the game pause. And finally, the trigger test death was just to make sure that the death was working. It's a simple box collision to cast the character that plays the death. As simple as that. And yeah, that's all the stuff that I put into the level. Then if we go into the heads-up display, this was all of the images I used for different things. So you've got the gravity, slow motion, and speed from the HUD, the exit game button, a get started button, the fuel overlay and stuff like that, the main background overlay, a red background overlay, the red vignette, and a return to menu. Those all came in handy in the widgets. That's not supposed to be in there, that's supposed to be in the if we that's fine, I'll spot it. But the HUD is just this. All of the things here, like the green bar, I literally just created in Paint because my Photoshop wasn't working at the time. Same with the background here for the fuel. And then that was just a basic arrow. The background is just a weirdly shaped black box, pretty much, with 2 silvery white things on the side of it. it's weird to explain it, but you get what I mean. And then there's the cooldowns here with the cooldown timers, which I don't know if you noticed in the actual game. But these, if I go to the graph, with functions to get time cooldown, it's the same on all of them, so I don't need to show you all of them. Like I can just show you like that. It was just cast into the character, get the time cooldown variable, and to text integer it and display it. Simple as that. Same with the get health, get fuel, get seconds, get minutes, whatever. It was all the same. The key, which was whenever you picked up the key, believe it or not, it would appear. The level complete was just this, just text, the background, and a return to menu button. I created the return to menu thing in Photoshop. It was literally just typing return to menu and bringing it into UDK, just so that it was more of a thing that I could turn into a texture and just put it on top of a button. However, the trouble was that this right here would be 0.25 to begin with, which, oh wait, if I put that back to 0 and go into the normal one so you can see it, when I'd import it, the default, it would look like this, bulging. So I just set that to 0 and it puts it as it is when you import it. As simple as that. Yep, when clicked on, when it's constructed, cast a play controller, show mouse cursor, that's as simple as that. And when clicked on the main menu button, I forgot to name it, just open the main menu level. The main menu, which we saw before, is just the get started and exit game button. When clicked on the exit button, execute console command exit. When clicked on the get started button, it's just open level by name, level 1. Out of time, it's pretty much exactly the same as the level complete, just with a different color and different text. Player health low was a fade animation, which is this. Very simple. That would then go into the damage player. The you died thing, exactly the same as before with the return to menu button. Now in here we've got the, did I put the, where did I put them? They're somewhere in here. Now if we go into the side scroller character, we've got the power-ups, which were the second things that I did. I don't know why, but creating the level was so difficult, yet I found this a lot more fun, so to speak. I found just making blueprints and testing them a lot more fun than building the level itself, and that's a good thing. It means I found like what I enjoy doing in UDK and in games design. But the slow motion was as simple as a branch condition. I created these recently just for a cooldown because I wanted to add a cooldown to things. They're just integers. I couldn't figure out while loops, which is why it looks like this in the middle here. The time slow though is as simple as taking away 0.2 of the player fuel. If they don't have enough fuel, print not enough fuel. Set the player fuel down. Set the global time dilation to 0.5. Slow the time for the cooldown, which was set time cooldown to 2. Delay by a second, set 1. Delay by a second, set 0, and then go back to normal. Jump boost, pretty much exactly the same, just with player fuel 0.1. Minus 0.1, set the character movement gravity scale to 1 because the default in UDK is 2, and then set jump cooldown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, go back to normal. And then the speed boost, exactly the same again, take away 0.1 as long as the speed cooldown is equal to 0. Then set the character's max warp speed to 1200 because the default is 600, so you're doubling the speed. Set cooldown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Set back to normal. As simple as that. The player health was a float, maximum of 1. Player fuel 0.5. Now the interesting thing is the health regen. It looks very simple, and that's because it is. I was expecting it to be a lot more complicated than a simple tick, delay 2 seconds. If the condition being the player health being a minimum of 0.01 and a maximum of 0.99, if it's in that range, just set the player health to 0.05 every 2 seconds. It was as simple as that. I was thinking it'd be a lot more complex, but this is a very simple health regen system. Inputting the HUD was very simple. When the player begins playing the game, just create the HUD widget and access the viewport. These are the two things that are there by default. And in the side scroller game mode, we had the timer, which was very simple. Well, I say very simple, it wasn't that simple. You got minutes and seconds, which are integers. And then a tick every second, delay a second, set the seconds to -1. The condition being for this branch, if the seconds are 0, if it is, set the minutes -1 and set the seconds to 59. Back down to another branch, if the minutes are less than or equal to -1, then create the out of time widget, add to the viewport, and pause the game. Apart from that, I think that was about it. The key material was this. When it loads, there we go. I took a clip art of a free clip art. I made sure that everything was copyright free. Anything I used, I was checking to make sure that it didn't have any tags for copyright issues. But for this, it was as simple as copying this as the base color, so it is the base color. The texture sample again, but to emissive color, multiply, and this was a set constant. So if I click on that, you can just change this right here, and it can get very bright, as Andrew knows. I sent a image of me messing around with it just to see how bright things could get, and they get very bright. No, don't apply changes because I didn't really do anything. But apart from that, that's all that I've got for this first draft, at least. So in conclusion, I'm very disappointed in my ability to create levels, but I'm pretty impressed by my blueprint work. The amount of time that I put into the blueprints, I'm proud of, but I feel like I could have done a lot better when it came to the level. And I'm probably just gonna kick myself over the level a lot, simply because I actually put a lot more effort into this than other projects that I've done for classes over the past 4 years. This was the thing that I put the most effort into. However, over the summer holidays, to keep myself refreshed and make sure I don't forget anything, I will be creating another game. Those will also come at, like, I'll put project updates, but I'll make them personal project updates on the channel. And apart from that, yeah, that's about it. Thank you.